Hello. I am Almira, and here is a video about what can an environmental engineer do about flood. Disaster risk management is highly important because it is able to minimize the risk, thus lessen the impact of a disaster. Managing the risk of a disaster can be done by analyzing the hazard, risk and impact of the disaster, and also the resilience of the area, adaptation, and mitigation that can be done. Hazard is defined as variable that can potentially cause disaster. Meanwhile, risk is defined as a situation exposing to disaster. Resilience of the area is the capacity to recover quickly from a disaster. One of the most common disasters that happen in Indonesia is flood. Flood is an overflow of water happens on normally dry ground. Usually, it happens due to heavy rain, an overflowing river and a dam break. Some of the hazards of flood are high intensity of rain, high populated area, less vegetation, low infiltration, and not fully functional drainage system. All these hazards are potentially causing more water runoff that will lead to flood, but not all of them can be reduced because they are natural, like high intensity of rain. However, some of them are possible to be reduced. Here are what can an environmental engineer do to reduce hazards of flood. Urban drainage system is built to drain out stormwater as quickly as possible by making channel connected to water bodies such as river and ocean. Therefore, planning and constructing good drainage system is crucial to manage flood risk. Some of the things to be noted when designing drainage system are slope of the channel and velocity of the water. To make sure the water is able to flow well, it's important to design the slope. Meanwhile, velocity is designed so the water will not cause too much friction to the channel and causing abrasion. It also to make sure the water will be drained out to the water bodies before the flood occurs. In Indonesia, most of the drainage systems are also sewerage systems. Sewerage contains organic materials that will cause sedimentation to the channel. Sedimentation will hamper the flow of runoff water, causing longer time in the channel and eventually will cause flooding. That's why separating drainage system and sewerage system is also a way to manage flood risk. In some cases, the problem is not on the channel yet, but on the street where the water can't get into the channel. It usually happens because the street inlet is clogged by solid waste such as plastics. It happens mostly because of the ignorant society, but a part of it also happen because of the management of solid waste. Waste bank might be a solution, for it will encourage people to put their wastes there, and get money from it, instead of littering them. Another way to manage flood risk is by making artificial reservoirs. Artificial reservoir will save the water so it won't weld up the channel and reduce the risk of flooding. Saving the water is also way smarter than quickly draining it out to the water bodies. The reservoir can be used as hydropower to produce electricity. Other than that, fresh water is way easier to be treated as drinking water than saline water from the ocean. Saline water contains minerals in the form of iron, which is so small that it should be treated in a special and usually expensive way, such as using reverse osmosis process. To conclude this video, things an environmental engineer can do to reduce the hazards of flood are designing a good drainage system with a proper slope and flow velocity. Separating sewerage system and drainage system so there will be less sedimentation in channel, encouraging people to put their waste on waste bank so there will be less litters, and make an artificial reservoir to collect water runoff instead of draining it out to the ocean. Thank you for watching this video. Do wash your hands frequently and stay safe.